I'm back, baby.
You again.
No.
Oh.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name's Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week we talk Star Wars filming, Marvel's upcoming Netflix shows, other obscure movies, and more.
Woo, more. I'm back, everybody.
Welcome back.
And I wanted to personally thank Brian for filling in. It was very nice of him to do.
Yes. Brian was awesome last week. Again, I will probably have him back, honestly, or I might start a podcast with him about comic books. Since I don't think we cover, I think I could do a podcast on comic books and not touch any of the stuff we talk on here.
Yeah, it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
Even though they're very heavily related, it's kind of different.
So yeah, thanks, Brian.
Yeah, super awesome.
So I want to do something at the beginning of the show. I want to give out our Twitter handles so people can live tweet the show with us. That way they don't have to try to figure out what they were at the end of the show.
Smart. You're a smart man.
You can follow me and live tweet me at Valdan, VALDAN, and they can find you at...
They can find me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter.
Yeah, so yell at us. Tell us how wrong and stupid we are. Like, whenever we talk about things that we know nothing about.
Yeah, it's always fun when the phone blows up and I'm looking at these bubbles.
Yeah, right? Like that,
these bubbles popping up.
I like, that's when I know someone's listening. Like, that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of podcasts, I went to Missouri this weekend. It's a five-hour drive for me.
What? So are we jumping into this newly created section?
Yeah.
You literally just invented like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I did. We call it the Riff Raff, and we're just gonna kind of like riff for a few minutes because, I mean, me and Mike, we haven't talked for like 2 weeks, so we got to get it out.
All right. So you give me your riff, and I'll give you my riff.
All right. So here's the riff. So I'm going to Missouri. It's 5 hours away, and I don't want to use my data the whole time because I don't know what service is gonna be like down there.
Exactly.
So I downloaded like 10 podcasts, and I listened to zero music the whole way there and back.
Oh man, you're moving into my world. That's exactly how I spent my flights when I went to a wedding in North Carolina. Not to intrude on your riff, but here's some of my raff.
Whoa.
I did like the same thing. Like I loaded up on all podcasts like I usually do because I store them locally. Because if you stream too many podcasts, it just destroys your data limit on your cell phone plan. So you want to just download them over Wi-Fi. And then I did the offline mode for Spotify. I offlined some like playlists and stuff. I never touched a single playlist on Spotify. It was nothing but podcasts the whole way, man.
I did the same thing. I loaded up a bunch of albums and artists on my Spotify, and I'm like, this will cover me. Those podcasts won't. No, I didn't touch the music.
What podcast did you listen to? Anything new?
No, mostly one called, it's a comicbookmovie.com podcast called the Weekly Planet, or the Weekly Planet podcast or something like that. I don't know. They're from Australia, so I mean, they're
the accents would probably be entertaining enough as it is.
And they're colloquialisms. Like they're pretty funny guys. They're kind of like us, except they have more of a segment podcast where they cover the news in like 5 minutes, and then they do like I think the last one I listened to was like the best like Bourne movies, or the best like here we're ranking the Mission Impossible movies kind of deal, like whatever they go out and watch and stuff that's on topic. Whereas we're news, but I think maybe one day we'll get to that point.
Yeah, we're kind of here just to keep people up on what's going on, because I mean, if there's enough content out there to make a weekly podcast, that's more than most people can keep up with.
Yeah, and there's going like sometimes 2 hours or more, and we shoot for that hour mark. We know you guys are busy. We know you guys are busy. But another thing that thought of was a Riff Raff. I didn't tell you, I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like you briefly shot me a message, but I forgot to ask you what you thought about it.
Yeah, it's about run of the mill mediocre film. Yeah, I didn't hate it. So.
Exactly, that's all it requires. You just don't. If you don't hate it, you can look forward to the second one.
Yeah. So I guess I'm eating my dish of crow over here because you showed
yummy.
me. You showed me.
It's entertaining. I mean, if you know going into it, it's a fun experience.
Yeah. So what about your RAF? Give me your RAF.
Well, I went to a wedding down in North Carolina for my buddy Ryan, and I got to experience some of the South. I don't visit the South too often. I've mainly just driven through it if I've had to go through the states down there. But I got to try this fast food place that's like super cheap, and apparently it's all over down there. It's called Cookout. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I have not.
But yeah, it's just like this little chain. My buddy kind of compared it to like In-N-Out. And I think the comparison might be close, like price wise, but they had a pretty big menu. Like you could get like hush puppies and like chicken nuggets and stuff. It was just a really cool fast food joint. I'd recommend it if you're a listener down in the South. Maybe check out, see if you have a Cookout nearby. It was pretty good. It was like really dirt cheap food for as much as I got, and that's always the best when it comes to that type of food, because you can only elevate fast food type food like burgers like so much. Like whenever I go into like a restaurant, there's like a $12 burger and it comes with like avocado and like onion rings and like barbecue sauce, and it's just like it's like 12 inches high. It's never as good as what you paid for.
Yeah, it's true. I actually had Wendy's breakfast this morning on the topic of fast food for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
And
how was that?
It puts a comparison to McDonald's, which is consistent and delicious to a level. It puts it to shame, honestly.
Well, that McDonald's breakfast is going to be 24 hours soon, man. They're going to be able to compete.
I don't know when day and night's going to start and stop now, because I knew breakfast ended at 10:30. Like, this is just going to be madness for me if I can get it at 6 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure that out. We'll maybe next time on the podcast we'll eat McDonald's breakfast when we record in the afternoon.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, I guess to wrap up my RAF, I was watching more Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting through that second season, which is the last season, and it's really really cool the kind of stuff that they can tackle, and they don't have to shy away from something. So you already told me that X-Men that they weren't going to be in it, and that was fine. But like it was still kind of cool when they were doing this. Trying to figure out who the Skrulls were.
Uh-huh.
They had this board of images, of photographs of superheroes, and Nick Fury was trying to figure out which was a Skrull, and you could like see Beast up there and stuff like that. And then when the Super Skrulls were made, you could see the Super Skrulls, like you could see like a Cyclops Super Skrull like with his powers. So I thought that was kind of cool. They they can choose not to include the X-Men, but it doesn't mean they can't tread on the IP, which is really nice. And like it made me think really is I don't think we're going to be getting Skrulls in the movies, but I think the Skrulls would be a really good plotline for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I do too. I think, the Skrull and Kree have always been at war with each other. Like, that was a big thing, and, like, we have Kree and S.H.I.E.L.D., so I think that could be a good plotline down the road, if you're right. Unless Fox owns them, because they appear in a lot of Fantastic Four things.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think too, but at the same time, I get it that Kree are specifically shapeshifters, but I could see them just maybe the Chitauri could be shapeshifters and the Chitauri just invade or something like that. I mean, I'm sure that might make some people mad, but I feel like honestly it could be any alien race.
Well, that's funny because they used the Chitauri as a Kree replacement in the Ultimate Comics, and they were shapeshifters. And,
yeah, so there you go.
But we've already had the Chitauri in Avengers. So
maybe they could be coming back, because since we kind of blew the big Chitauri load for the Avengers movie, now they're really shattered right now. They're really broken down. There's not a lot of them left. So maybe they use that as a revenge on Earth. Like, oh, we're gonna take revenge on Earth by slowly invading the planet. And that would make more sense. So I think that could be cool. There you go, ABC Studios. My idea is free. You don't even have to pay me.
Yeah, because we mold the universe the way that we see fit. So
it, man.
How about this? Let's just jump into news. I got stuff we got to talk about. Honestly, I've been holding back, not sending you anything, but I'm sending you some news right now. You ready?
I'm ready for it, man.
Star Wars 8.
Oh, Star Wars!
Star Wars 8, right there. Guess what? That movie is already in production.
Ooh, man.
Okay.
That's awesome.
They're going back to the same place they filmed Episode 7 at in Ireland called Skellig Michael. Okay. All right. We have an image here of where they're filming at. It looks like a grassy, rocky place. And
yeah, I was just kind of assuming that just by it being Ireland, but yeah, it definitely looks to be some sort of green, lush planet, which is usually not something we get with Star Wars. You get a lot of desert in Star Wars.
Right. The rumor is that this is where Luke Skywalker is at, in his absence, kind of. Like, between the films, this is where he's kind of made his home at.
Yeah.
It's totally cool, and that's awesome. I think we'll get more of an idea when, 8 or 7 comes out in 3 months. We're 3 months away. Put that down.
Oh man, we are so
close. I remember when we were 3 months away from Avengers, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, it's real. But that brings me to my next point. Star Wars Rogue One is also in production, all right? At the same time.
Star Wars, they're the real job creators there. Star Wars 2016, creating jobs.
Right, 4 more years of Star Wars. So we got 2 images here. First up, it looks like a crashed X-Wing in like a sand.
I don't know. It could be a Y-Wing.
It could very well be a Y-Wing. The only reason I say it is because the Y-Wing's jets I don't think are that close together, like to the cockpit. They extend back more. But either way, we have a crashed starship of some sort in the sand. And the next image is a bunch of dead stormtroopers floating out in like water.
Ooh, ominous.
Okay, so this is Rogue One. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, I think is its real title. Until they change it again to make it, roll off the tongue better.
These stormtroopers floating around like, to the unknowing, it kind of just looks like they're just taking a break. Like, let's just go float around. I'm tired of working. Let's take our 15 minutes and go float around in this pond.
I thought it was like one of those Force Fridays toy trucks that got dumped over in like a river or something.
Wait, so is it water? It's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't, like, is it a sandy shore, or are they actually on water? I can't really tell, honestly.
I'm pretty sure that's water. I mean, it's a shore, of course, but I'm pretty sure they're in like shallow water.
Okay.
I could be very wrong, but I feel like some of that stuff is like going underwater. Some of those ring-looking things.
Either way, I'm sure stormtroopers are overworked, and they need breaks every once in a while.
This Stormtrooper beach vacation is actually what this movie's going to be about.
Yeah, man.
So Rogue One coming out is December of next year, so it's 1 year after we get Episode 7, and it's takes place in between episodes 3 and 4.
That'd be weird. Rogue One is on the other side of the beginning of the Star Wars franchise. It's just weird. It's like I'm trying to picture my life now and how my life is going to be after December.
Right, and then go back 20 years because that's where the other movie takes place.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for it. It's Star Wars, man. I about bought a lightsaber the other day, one of those crossblade ones from a Disney store. But I talked myself out of it because I probably would have been kicked out of the mall carrying that thing out, swiping people.
Yeah, I mean, it's always that constant battle in your head. Like, the older you get, the more and more you have the words need and want in the back of your head. Yeah. Like, do I need it or do I want it?
I mean, honestly, I bought a Hawkeye jacket today at Hot Topic. It was like, I'm going to be honest, it's $60 for that jacket.
Ooh, that's a little steep.
It is a little steep, but I don't have many winter jackets anyway, and I really liked it. There was an Iron Man one. It was too intricate. Captain America is too bright. But I think this looks like a nice blend between casual and Avengers wear.
Well, if this was a video podcast, we could justify these toys as a need and not a want, because then we could be like, no, people have to have entertaining things on their screen, so we have to buy these toys, honey.
That's true. That's true. We could be doing reviews of these things.
Yeah, it's just like, no, babe, I need this for the podcast.
Yeah, right? The Slate needs this. It's for the Slate. Yeah. Business expense.
Then the wife just slaps it out of your hand. Yeah. It's like, no, we're moving along. I never should have brought you into the Disney store.
She whips out her lightsaber and smacks you in the face with it. So
yeah, because she can justify it as a punishment.
Yeah, what a jerk. Oh, you know who else is a jerk? Daredevil. No, I'm kidding. He's not a jerk. We like Daredevil.
Sometimes he can be a jerk.
Yeah, well, especially when he's typing on his cat and he can't see anything. So Daredevil season 2 is coming April of 2016. We assume, the same as last year. And Drew Goddard, the original showrunner for the first season, is still involved as an executive producer.
That's good.
He left the show to go do Sony's Sinister Six, which is
so much for
kind of defunct. But he's still on a really good working relationship with Marvel and the team. And sometimes they call him in and ask him stuff for the show. But we also got confirmation that Stick, the mentor of Daredevil, will return for 3 episodes.
Yeah, man.
Scott Glenn returning again. I like Stick. I think he was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. It was nice seeing somebody that could contend with Daredevil, but kind of be on his good side, so they could just like pal around and be assholes to each other.
I think he also builds the universe more so in a different way than the other characters do.
Yeah. How many episodes was he in the first season? Was it just one?
Just one.
I think it was mainly one, and then I feel like no, I don't think he popped up in any other. Yeah. He just had that stinger at the end of the episode. Right?
Yeah, with the guy swing with the smoky thing.
Yeah. The mystical pot of smoke.
Yeah, so I know he was in that. He's obviously a David Carradine ripoff, but whatever. I don't care. I liked him. I think he'll be fun.
Yeah, but it looks like he's coming back for, what'd you say, 3 episodes?
At least 3. So I think this is going to build towards Iron Fist. I think that's where it's going with him.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to an Iron Fist show. I think that's going to be awesome. Speaking of Earth's Mightiest Heroes again, I finally got to see Iron Fist and Luke Cage pop up, and that was pretty cool too. So yeah, I'm getting really excited for these characters now that I'm seeing pop up in other things.
Yeah, was that the Yellow Jacket episode?
No, I don't believe so. I think that was just the Scott Lang episode.
Right. Well, that's where Hank Pym shows up and becomes Yellow Jacket. Because
no,
well, okay,
not in the episode that I watched. That's probably coming up. Then.
Okay, I mean, I remember a line from that. He's like, "Yeah, we're the Avengers. I'm Captain America, and he's Iron Man, or something like that." And they were making fun of him. Well, but I like the heroes for hire.
Yeah, well, either way, I'm not too worried about the spoilers that you're just dropping on me because it's just a casual cartoon show watch for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, you're gonna like even if I tell you things like that show, I couldn't describe it in words. It's so good.
Well, either way, I'm just excited that I'll get to see like Yellow Jacket and stuff. Yeah. It was funny. I wish I could have watched that Scott Lang episode before I went and saw the Ant-Man movie, just because I almost like what they did with Scott Lang more in Earth's Mightiest Heroes than they did with him in the movie. So it would have been interesting to compare him more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of the Heroes for Hire, Luke Cage, right? He's got the show coming out. Apparently, that's filming already. I thought they'd wait till next year to start this.
Yeah, that's like it. Supposedly it's supposed to be a year away.
So the Luke Cage has a Twitter. It's like Luke Cage on Twitter right now for the show. First off is a pocket from Cornell Stokes, which is the Cottonmouth character we've talked about before. Shows what he looks like, and then also I've reported on Comic UI that actress Alfre Woodard has a role in there, and she played a character called Black Mariah. Well, the newest thing that she has posted is her name is Mariah Dillard, no relation. So she's playing a character called Mariah Dillard in upcoming Shield. Or not Shield, Luke Cage.
All right, that's good.
So far, thus far they've got a pretty robust cast, and we talked about last week. I know you weren't here, but I'm excited to see set photos of this because it looks like it's going to be more of a local political kind of thing, more on the politics side than Daredevil was, and I'm excited to see what that does for the Harlem era.
Either way, in this Marvel universe, I think it's very obvious that you move as far away as possible from New York City because it's nothing but shit that goes down in New York City.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to move to like Iowa in the middle of nowhere, and you'll be safe.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, out of shit's way, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next up, Shield. Shield season 3 is coming back very, very soon.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah,
I think.
No. Yeah. Yes, because Muppets is this week. Wink, wink. On Tuesday at 8.
Oh man. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
So Shield's a week from Tuesday at 9 o'clock. The first image of Quake, Daisy, Sky, whatever you want to call her, in uniform has come up. And we kind of talked about last week. Her gauntlets look a little bigger in this and a little more intricate than the low quality image of her running. And I kind of like her. I like what she's become as a character compared to her first season appearances.
Yeah, she looks a lot like she looks like a Black Widow-esque type outfit she's got going on here.
Yeah, very much like Mockingbird, kind of like taken from the Mockingbird. But again, Sky was like one of the things I hated the most about S.H.I.E.L.D. when it first launched, because she was kind of like the token, kind of person who's not on the team and doesn't know what's going on, who saves the day. But I think she's become a stronger character throughout the show.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of weird how they've pretty much totally dropped her like computer hacking, like, you know, skill set. You know, I feel like they could have had her do anything else besides computer hacking, because she's only done it maybe a handful of times in the show so far.
Yeah, I think, and it could have been they didn't know what they were going to do with her yet, that early on. So
yeah, possibly.
Oh well. Have you seen the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon yet?
I have not. I've seen trailers, but and I've seen longer segments of it, but I have not seen a full episode.
Okay, well I think the first and second episode leaked early because it's not out till next week. They have a Marvel Music, which is like its own like thing, has released the Cosmic Mix Volume 1. So it's essentially a mix of songs that are going to be more on the TV show Guardians of the Galaxy that we didn't see in the movie.
But they're like actually like licensed songs?
Yes.
Okay.
I made a playlist on Spotify of these songs actually.
Okay.
Of course they have, I'm pretty sure Hooked on a Feeling is the first song still.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the other songs are not seen in the movie or associated with it yet, as of yet. Because, you know, we talked about this kind of exists in a separate kind of world.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't all the tracks have to be kind of child friendly?
Yeah. So an example is "The Boys Are Back in Town" by Thin Lizzy. "Shake Your Groove Thing" by Peaches and Herb. "Joy to the World" by Three Dog Night. So I mean, these are all like, you know, 80s, 70s songs, and they're not bad. Like honestly, I think they're family friendly.
Well, they would have to be for a cartoon show.
I think you know, "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen is the last song.
Ooh, I love that song.
Yeah, so honestly, this is a pretty good mix of songs. So if you're looking to enhance your, you know, oldies collection or classic rock, this is where
you should post your Spotify playlist up in the show notes.
I will link to the Spotify playlist.
People can subscribe to it.
And you guys can follow it and listen to it. It's missing one song that's not on Spotify, and I don't remember what it was. But it's not a song I've ever heard before because I went and looked it up on YouTube. So I don't feel bad leaving it out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool though. I'm looking forward to listening to it, man.
Yeah, so I'll send it your guys' way. Deadpool is next.
Oh, yeah. What's going on with Deadpool?
Apparently, Fox is already plotting out a sequel, according to one of the producers on it.
Well, I think it's safe to say that's definitely being fast tracked with the stinker known as Fantastic Four.
I would say they're totally separate because I feel like they have a mutant department, like an X-Men team, and then like a non-X-Men team, and I think they're just very, very. What they said is that the rough cut delivers on all the laughs and humor that we expect from the trailer, and they feel so confident about it. They want to go ahead and start working on the next one so they can, you know, shove it in there with all the other comic book movies we're getting over the next 6 years.
That's awesome. I would love February to be the month for rated R comic book movies. Just start bringing up superheroes that are dark on the edgy side. Give them rated R movies. Throw it in February. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And another fun fact is that the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, said that Colossus is in this movie a lot more than what we expect.
Ooh, that's cool. Everyone loves Colossus.
Right, and he looks really good, according to him, but I assumed he was just kind of like a 1 or 2 scene, like at the beginning and at the end kind of deal. Like he gives Deadpool the mission to go get this Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and at the end he comes in and saves him or whatever. But apparently he's in it a lot more than we expected, so that's really awesome to see Colossus get some screen time.
Oh yeah, man. It'll be cool because he's basically indestructible, and Deadpool's unkillable. So it sounds like a really humorous pair.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you need that quiet, stoic character to go along with the shenanigans of Deadpool and how he kills people.
And how he won't stop talking.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited for Deadpool. I'm really, really excited, and I'm ready for February. Do we have any more comic book movies this year?
Man, I don't think so. Not unless it's something like obscure that we just can't think of. So, I mean, we have book movies like The Martian's coming out soon. Okay. That's based on a book, though.
Well, we have James Bond.
Yeah, that's true.
And we have
those were also based on a book back in the day.
Yeah, so we have James Bond and Star Wars that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Those would be the big ones.
Beyond that, I think video games are for me for the rest of this year. So next year, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, you're getting Halo soon, aren't you?
Yeah, Halo's October.
Oh man, you were probably getting really excited.
Man, I bought. Here's something I want to ask out to you, the users. I bought a Nintendo 3DS last week for the first time.
Okay.
Because I was going to be in down in Missouri where no cell service existed. I thought, and I was just going to have it to play. What games do you listeners like on the 3DS?
Good question.
It came with Pokemon Y for me because I bought it on eBay. So it came with the game Pokemon Y. But I'm open to anything. I know some people said Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Mario games, pretty standard fare. But I mean, if you listeners have any, 3DS game suggestions, send them our way.
Yeah, I mean, the DS has been out for years now. You could probably pick up some really, really good games that are maybe just a couple years old for probably like $10.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I have a DSi, but I wanted to get the 3DS. I got the XL one that's like really big, so the screen's bigger than my phone. So it's pretty awesome. But I like to know what games are good for it, since I never I never ventured to that area of GameStop before. So how about X-Men? You like X-Men?
Yeah, I think I can get down on some
That's
X-Men.
what we were talking about. Gambit and Deadpool will interact with the current X-Men universe.
Supposedly.
This does not mean a crossover, but this means that what happens from Days of Future Past is where Deadpool and Gambit exist.
Oh, okay.
They exist in that newly created universe. So they can reference events and do other things within there as well that affect each other.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to know what they're doing with this timeline. I bring this up like every other time we talk about X-Men, but I mean, like if Apocalypse is taking place in the 80s, for the most part, it looks like Deadpool's happening in the present day. How do we bridge that gap of time with these actors that look relatively young? I mean, do you just age them up to catch them up to 2015? I mean, you got to put like 30 years on some of these characters.
I'm going to go the way that they did. If we look at First Class to Apocalypse, that's 20 years. And they just jump 10 years, and they don't have to age them, really. It seems like. I know the kids are going to look a little weird, but who knows? Who knows where they're going to go with that? But they did that with Days of Future Past to Apocalypse is 20 years, and they didn't age them at all.
Yeah, but I think at some point it's outside of the realm of believable. It makes me think maybe Apocalypse will have some sort of time travel mechanic and just like shoot him into the future or something. I don't know.
Well, see, I don't think we're gonna see much of those original trilogy people much beyond Apocalypse, and these new kids are gonna be what we see the face of.
No, I totally agree, but I'm expecting these new kids to interact with Gambit and Deadpool at some point in time. I would love to see all these mash up, but they kind of have to mash up in the same decade, So it's like, where does that decade
See,
happen?
I don't think they cross with Deadpool simply because he's a rated R character, and I think they can reference the Weapon X program and other things, maybe Colossus or something, but I don't know if he'll ever be in there with him. And Gambit, I don't know when it takes place. That could be a 90s movie, and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? I mean, it'll be weird. Maybe Fox is just like, everything doesn't have to be in a franchise. Maybe they're like, we're going to make this like 1980s, early 1990s like franchise of superheroes, and then we're going to make this current time of superheroes. And then maybe they will never meet. Who knows?
Yeah. But bad news for Gambit. Rupert Wyatt, the director, has left the project.
Oh, well, he's probably worried about maybe things being shaky. Maybe nothing's concrete over there with Gambit right now.
I don't think it's so much that. I think he did the Planet of the Apes 2. Or was it the first one? Do you remember which one it was off the top of your head?
I don't remember. Either way, I liked both of them. So.
He did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which
is the first one.
Okay.
Because it's opposite of what you think it is. You would think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes would be the first one, but it's actually the second one.
He did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I don't think he's done anything since then. The Gambler. I take it back. He did The Gambler, which was a Mark Wahlberg movie from 2014.
I don't think I even saw a trailer for that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's pretty obscure. But anyway, I don't think it may be something too big for him to take. There's a lot of pressure on Gambit. We know this. And I don't think he could... I mean, honestly, I could see that cracking to a newer director, such as Wyatt.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe just another studio approached him with a better project, and he's just like, yeah, that sounds a lot better than Gambit, a character that no one's really familiar with on screen. So
yeah, and it could be, maybe studio interference. He's like, there's a lot of studio stuff, and he just doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, it could be. We'll have to keep an eye out and see what he does in the future. So maybe he has a new project announced soon. Maybe that's the thing that took him away from Gambit.
Yeah, he's probably, Marvel or DC doing one of their bigger movies.
Yeah.
So, oh well. Yeah, well. No Rupert Wyatt, but the production begins early 2016.
Yes, supposedly.
If it wants to keep its date, which I think it will. I think it's the last movie before Doctor Strange next year, so it's got a little leeway. I think it'll be okay. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the movie doesn't come out for a while. It hasn't even started any sort of production yet. But things have been shaky. I mean, we haven't really had a lot of solidified news with it. I mean, it was kind of shaky with Channing Tatum there for like a week or so, but then that was cleared up. But then, I don't know, it's not on solid ground quite yet.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not a Gambit fan anyway. I don't think he can hold his own movie.
Same here.
And I think they could do better things, but that's...
Yeah, like I remember Gambit's standalone episode in the animated series, the 1990s animated series, and it's I don't think it was that entertaining. He was just kind of running around the bayou with some like weird voodoo stuff. I don't know.
Right, it's hard to explain and describe, but oh well. But next year we'll get Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah, man!
That's a March release there, and big rumor here.
Okay.
That General Zod has appeared in the trailer as a corpse. That he becomes brought back to life to be kind of like a Bizarro Superman / Doomsday cross.
Okay.
I mean, what we saw was a pale General Zod who looked kind of like, to me when I saw him, I thought he was like a Bizarro, like Superman colors, because of his corpse. But like you do some genetic engineering, he could become Doomsday, but also like have the body of Zod and be kind of like a Bizarro style Superman.
Now, what exactly is the do you know the origin of Doomsday? Like, is he genetically modified on Earth, or is he like an alien?
He's an alien in the comics, at least one version of them, because DC is rebooted so often. He was created in 1992 in comic book wise, to be a villain who could be a physical challenge for Superman. Hence, the death of Superman.
Yeah.
But the New 52, like Doomsday, came out in like 2013. I know it was kind of like a virus kind of thing. I don't know. I know it has to do with Superman's. It's created to fight Superman, but I don't think it was on Earth.
Yeah, and Bizarro, he is from a different dimension, right?
Yeah, Bizarro,
I believe.
Bizarro is essentially. I thought he was like made by Lex Luthor, but I could very well be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't read enough DC.
Yeah, I just thought, if I remembered right, Bizarro from a Justice League episode, I feel like he came from an alternate dimension where it's like an alternate version of Earth. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of hard for me to speak to it because I could be bringing up these ideas that hardcore DC fans will be like, no way, Bizarro could never be that.
Okay, so here just a quick thing. After this DC Comics event called Crisis, Lex Luthor orders a scientific team to create a clone of Superman, and they created Bizarro on accident.
Okay.
However, before that, General Zod created Bizarro duplicates of himself to dominate the planet Krypton.
Okay.
So there's both of them right there.
Yeah, so I could see the Bizarro thing holding more weight now. Maybe not so much Doomsday, but I could see like Zod coming back as like a Bizarro Superman. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, so in the New 52, Doomsday is actually I think created by General Zod in the New 52.
Man, DC fans, how do you keep up with all of this? I mean, I thought Marvel was hard to keep up with all these years and decades of lore, but man, DC is all over the map. I don't know how anyone keeps any of this straight.
Yeah, it's really hard. They have a lot of different universes and reboots and so forth with their like main characters, and like just kind of looking this stuff up as I go. I think honestly that Doomsday is the main villain of Batman versus Superman, but it's General Zod is that Doomsday. Simply because you have to have something powerful enough to bring Wonder Woman into this fray.
Okay.
And I don't know of anyone, like, we have Lex Luthor creating this, working scientifically on Zod, creates this Doomsday Bizarro mix, and that's the thing that's coming after Batman, Superman.
I don't know if it happens. So this is just a rumor. I could see this popping up in another film, but if it's to happen in a Batman vs Superman movie, I feel like it's not going to show up until the very end of the third act. You know, because I feel like
you're exactly right.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just going to be a final battle. It's not going to be like, you know, we're not going to see like a panning shot from the boots up to the head of Bizarro at the very beginning of the movie. You know, I think that's going to show. I think he'll show up maybe at the very end.
Well, exactly. Well, I think Lex Luthor has to work on him and create him to be the final boss villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, Batman and Superman work out their differences.
Yeah, and you could kind of see like maybe that I could see someone like never actually saying the word Bizarro, just because it's kind of a strange word. Or they would do the cheesy thing that superhero movies always do, where it's a headline in a newspaper. Oh, a Bizarro Superman is found, or whatever like that. But yeah, I could see that Zod like coming in the third act, and then Batman, Superman have to team up to fight him. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I think is because we have Wonder Woman in this, and if you look at the way the cuttiness on the trailer is, what Superman is doing is not what the next cut is. It's something else. And I to me, is Doomsday. If you listeners have theories, send them our way.
Oh, we could put some money down then. We could say so you're leaning Doomsday and I'm leaning Bizarro. We could kind of see like kind of how this rebirth of Frankenstein Zod leans. Does it lean Bizarro or lean Doomsday?
All right, I'll put my money on Doomsday. By money, I mean, I don't know, things.
We'll put some Star Wars toys on it.
Yeah. I will buy you a lightsaber that Andy won't let you have.
Oh, all right, I'll buy you one. If but I don't know. We'll see.
we'll cross this bridge. We got till March, but right now our bets have been placed on what we are wanting to have.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Something we shouldn't bet on is Justice League, because that's so far out there.
Yeah, that's like 2 years out, man.
2 years, man. That doesn't seem that far actually now. Oh well. The rumor is that Brainiac is the villain. A bunch of people working on the film is that Brainiac, anytime Justice League is mentioned, Brainiac has been mentioned as the film villain.
I think that would work. I mean, if you're talking about a group of superheroes, they need to fight a threat, and it would make sense maybe a threat that knows literally everything. I mean, that's kind of the gist of Brainiac, that he can outsmart anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, most of the times you see him, he's an extraterrestrial android, like a robot. Despite other versions appearing, as we've discovered. I think that would be something that they definitely need to bring in other alien cultures that would, be a threat to Earth, to combine all these other Earth heroes together. Yeah,
I could see the Green Lanterns possibly knowing a little bit about it.
Yeah, Green Lanterns, and then you need the Flash and Aquaman, because the water's not safe either, because Brainiac and stuff. But I would like to see Brainiac done. I don't know much about him, but I would love to see him in a film.
Brainiac was always a really prominent villain in the Justice League TV show, because that's honestly all I can really pull from when it comes to DC is the Justice League show. And I mean, that's not a bad thing. The Justice League show is a very, very good show, but Brainiac was always in that, so I think he's a cool villain.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy it. I don't know who else I would pick it to put in that role.
You'll buy that for $1.
I would probably buy a movie ticket. What about Booster Gold Blue Beetle? What do you know about them? You said you did some research after you heard this.
Yeah, well, apparently there's some really diehard Booster Gold fans. Some stuff cropped up in my YouTube recommended viewings for Booster Gold, and I got to learn a little bit about him from some fans out there on YouTube. And apparently he sounds like a really interesting type of hero. He's kind of anti-hero / not really. He's like this time-traveling douchebag that flies around this chaotic DC universe to fix continuity errors. And but he's just kind of like a douchebag, but he kind of, I guess later on in his character over the years, they've evolved him to be a nice guy, but his kind of this wall he puts up around himself is this douchebagginess. So he never takes credit for the good he does, I guess, is kind of his main personality trait.
Yeah, so Booster Gold and I think Blue Beetle showed up in Smallville at some point.
Yeah, I think so, because when I was doing some research, I saw some live action costumes of him, and I was like, oh, I bet that was Smallville.
Yeah, so Greg Berlanti, the producer of The Flash and Supergirl, is looking to direct and produce a Booster Gold Blue Beetle film.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Not currently on the DC slate, which means they're open to adding more movies, right? A lot of people have said Nathan Fillion would make the best Booster Gold, and I don't know much about him. About these characters, you know more than I do at this point. Again, DC is not my forte, but I think that would be a great way to tie all the universes together.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Fillion's a very charismatic dude. He kind of played a superhero type person in that was it that Dr. Horrible sing-along blog or whatever.
Yeah, he was
it was
the Hammer.
Yeah, and the Hammer actually kind of was like a douchey superhero, so I guess that would tie into like Booster Gold pretty well. That's probably why people are recommending him a lot. Yeah, but I think that would be cool. I'd be down to watch that.
Yeah, so a big rumor I read was that, or not rumor, a theory, something they could do with it is that Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, they're time travelers, right? Dimension hoppers. They could go to each dimension, and they would be the glue that holds the DC TV and the cinematic universes together, that pulls them together.
Oh man, that would be amazing if you could see a Booster Gold pop up in an episode of The Flash, and then he pops up in the Flash movie, and then he's just like, what's going on here?
He's like, oh, I met one of you before.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
And then if he's got a film, then they can bring in all these other like their TV characters into the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is kind of one good thing that the DC comic universe has going for it. Since they've had so many different universes and storylines and continuity craziness over the years, it's kind of just more believable to think that the TV show is just like a separate universe and the movie universe is a separate universe, and even the other movies that they made before could be a separate universe. I don't know. It's just easy for me as like a comic book fan to rationalize it in my head.
No, that's all right. It's hard for me to even rationalize the DC stuff sometimes. I try. I really do. Speaking of, I watched my first episode of Arrow this week.
Oh, how'd it go?
He's essentially Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Meets kind of like an Iron Man.
/ a little bit of Batman.
Splash a little bit of Batman. I got a big Robin Hood vibe, though. And I didn't hate it. I'm not sure if I love it yet. There's a lot of mystery on that, a lot of intrigue set up in that first episode. But I'm gonna continue watching this for the next 2 weeks. I didn't get announced it yet, but I start a new job next month. So I have 2 weeks of working at home until I actually have to go in and work.
Are you trying to tell me this podcast isn't your full-time job?
Okay, it is. You got me. I just have to take up another full-time job to cover the lightsaber costs.
Yeah, if only recording 1 to 2 hours a week could support all of our Star Wars toys.
Right. Well, I wish recording was the only thing that went into this. But I mean, we both know we got to write the notes, we got to do the images, we got to edit the audio down and get them posted.
It's a whole deal.
A whole day's worth of work.
It's a whole deal, and it just gets delivered right to your iPhone podcast app, just like that. That apparently got updated with iOS 9. It looks a little different now.
Yeah, it definitely does. All our links still work though. I tried them out. What up?
Good. That's all that matters.
That's really all that's up. So I've tried Arrow. I'm going to keep going on Arrow. I know I've got a little bit to catch up, but I think I can bust them out.
Don't get too precious with some of the the outlier B characters, because they like to kill people off an Arrow.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. I'm just more like, there's a lot of stuff they've set up, like a lot of little like breadcrumbs, like Deathstroke's mask right at the very beginning. Like,
yeah,
I assume that's not going to get explained for a while, but the island, the so mystical island.
Mystical.
Anyway, Gotham season 2. How about that?
What's going on with Gotham?
have you caught up with Gotham?
No, I think you ask me that question every time we talk about Gotham. No, I don't know if Gotham's ever going to be a show that I kind of get around to. There's just so much out there to watch, but I don't know. I hear people like it, so
yeah. We had Alan on the show a few months back, and he really liked Gotham. Brian last week, he finished Gotham this week. He caught up too.
Oh, okay.
So you're off the show again. I'm bringing Brian back to talk about Gotham. apparently 2 major characters are to quote unquote bite it this season pretty early on.
So maybe they get bit by vampires.
I hope it's something to do with the man bat.
Oh
because
yeah, I guess it could be.
That's a big thing. But no, like they're really gonna die.
Oh, okay.
2 major characters. Who are they gonna be? I don't know.
I couldn't even list off the major characters in the show for you, so I don't even know.
Little Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne
little
dies.
Catwoman. Little Ivy. Little Poison Ivy. Not Fat Penguin.
I wonder if they'll do a character arc with the Penguin at some point in the show where he starts to overeat.
That's a good question. Probably. I think my assumption is someone's going to kill him who's fat and short and take over his place.
Yeah, fans of the show, let us know if he starts to eat a lot more in season 2. I want to know how he gets fat.
Yeah, he's cultivating mass, as they say in Always Sunny.
It's time to harvest.
Yeah, that's what penguins do. Oh, well. What about Supergirl? You going to watch Supergirl yet? Have you decided?
I don't know. I mean, I watched the pilot back when it dropped in July. Whether it was legit or not, who knows?
It's legit. It was legit.
Okay. I mean, it was interesting. Like I said back in the day, the trailer doesn't match the tone of the show, in my opinion. It was a really poorly cut trailer, and I think it turned a lot of people off, which is probably why the first episode of the show leaked, so people could really see what it was like. I'm gonna be more concerned about how they bring villains consistently into the universe every week, because I don't really like the way that they set it up in the pilot episode. It just seems kind of like ham-fisted in there, so I don't know. We'll see. So far the characters are likable so far, so I'll give it a shot, but we'll see.
So Supergirl is going up against, I think, Gotham at the same time slot on different channels.
Oh, okay. Is that a Monday show then?
It's a Monday, I think, at 8.
Okay.
Or 9. It's going up against either Minority Report or Gotham on Fox. I'm pretty sure it's Gotham because there's 2 comic book movies face to face. Who do you think is going to win out of those 2?
I don't know.
If you could pick one show to watch on Monday, would you pick Gotham or Supergirl?
I don't know. I think I'd probably maybe lean Supergirl, just because I feel Supergirl might be a little bit more fantastical. Might have I don't know, more entertainment value. I don't know. Okay, so this is a good comparison. I've only seen the pilot of Gotham, and I have only seen the pilot of Supergirl, and I think I like the pilot of Supergirl better than Gotham. So I guess that's the best way I could decide.
Okay, I think Supergirl, coming from Greg Berlanti, who did The Flash, which I like so much, would push me to that. However, the next thing we're going to talk about on Supergirl is that Red Tornado, one of the first villains or heroes or whatever, we got an image of him, and he's an android, and that looks dumb as hell.
Yeah, it's a really strange looking costume, because like if you look at it at just a glance, like if you just like skimmed it, you'd be like, oh, okay, that looks like a costume. But when you start really looking at it, it looks kind of janky.
So shoulders up, he looks fine. But once
yes.
the actual outfit comes into play, you're like, is this some sort of like Vision ripoff?
Yeah, it kind of. And if he's supposed to be an android, I kind of expected something a little bit more mechanical about him, but I don't really see any of that in him.
Yeah, this does look like some bad cosplay.
Yeah.
But either way, this is Ido Goldberg playing Dr. T.O. Morrow, the worst name in television history. And the robot he plays is Red Tornado, I think was a hero. I don't know. I'm not like looking at that. It's a big turnoff for that show.
Yeah, I mean, maybe on screen he'll look better. They'll put him in proper lighting. I mean, this doesn't look like an official photo to me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I think it was.
Oh God, that's not a good official photo.
Yeah, that's a first official look. Yes.
Oh, that's not a good place to start, Supergirl. But we'll have to see how he looks on screen.
Well, the worst part is the actual character looks like the TV show Avatar. He's red and has a yellow arrow coming down the middle of his head.
Okay.
And like, I'm not getting that vibe from this dude at all. Like, I don't know. It looks ugly. It looks bad. Again, it could be better, but at that point, I would choose Gotham over Supergirl.
Just on looking at this red
just
tornado
on this
photo.
image alone.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to see.
Yes. Do you like Pacific Rim?
Oh man, I fucking love Pacific Rim. One of my favorite movies of what was it, 2013, 2014?
I think, yeah, 2013, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of my favorite movies that year.
Awesome. So, that is on, the sequel we've talked about is on indefinite hold now.
Yeah, I read a pretty lengthy article about it. It looks like it's just kind of getting pushed aside mainly due to financing. I don't remember which studio, but one studio won't uphold its side of the financing.
So my thing is, it's a Guillermo del Toro film, right? Mm-hmm. He has been on so many projects that anytime they say his name is associated with the project, I'm like, that's not going to get made now.
Yeah, he has the worst luck.
Like, I don't know if it's luck or he like gets in over his head. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just from his filmography, we know he did Hellboy. Great. Mm-hmm. Great. I like Hellboy. I don't know about you. But between, 2002's Blade 2 and now he's done Blade 2, Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2, and Pacific Rim.
I mean, he makes wonderful movies, and he's got a lot of moxie, which is what I appreciate. Because I think one of the things that's tied into this is his new movie coming out, Crimson Peak. Yeah, so originally the studio that was financing that movie said, there's no way that we're going to pay for this unless you make it PG-13. And obviously Guillermo del Toro, who is the artist that he is, was just like, no fucking way, this is going to be a rated R movie. It's a horror movie. And then I think that kind of ties into just some of the financing on his other projects. So I don't know. I want to see Pacific Rim 2 really, really bad, so I hope it gets made.
I would like to see it as well. I think there's a lot of potential in that franchise. There's a big world there.
Yeah.
However, like I said, anything with Guillermo del Toro, I just feel isn't going to be made. Big example is the Hobbit films. Mm-hmm. He was attached to them for so long. It was almost like, I think, the week before filming before he backed out.
Oh, man.
And I worry that if he says he's going to do it, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my take on it. I would like to see Pacific Rim 2. I want to see Charlie Day return in his character and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it was such a great film. So, but we'll have to see. Yeah.
Speaking of sequels, Star Trek Beyond, the third one, has been delayed.
Okay.
2 weeks.
All right. It's kind of funny. The first one was really, really good. The sequel, some people didn't really like it that much.
I'm one of those. I don't like it.
I was okay with it. I didn't think it was as good as the first, but I didn't think it was bad by any means. But I feel like I'm worried about the trend. I'm not really looking forward to the third one that much. I mean, I'm not like, oh God, they're making another one, but I'm not really gonna rush out to the theater. I don't think this is a opening weekend movie for me. It might be like wait a week or two.
Yeah, I'm a big thing. If I don't see it on opening weekend, I usually don't go.
Yeah,
is my problem. And Star Trek Beyond is now up against the Ice Age, the fifth Ice Age movie.
Okay.
And Warner Brothers' King Arthur movie.
Okay. I don't think it'll have problems.
The original movie, well, I think it's a little stiffer than what it was originally up against The Secret Life of Pets. And Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which who's going to watch that one, honestly?
Yeah.
But 2 weeks isn't bad, honestly. If you hear it was delayed, it's 2 weeks. That's standard fare.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about quality-wise. I'm just not hankering to see it.
Yeah, but it looks like July next year.
Yes, July of next year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. How about July of the year after that?
I don't know. What's July the year after that?
Planet of the Apes 3.
Ooh, man. Have you been catching up with this franchise? Have you seen it?
No, I'm not.
It's really good.
I've heard great things.
It's surprisingly good. Like, people say the second one's better than the first one. I think the James Franco-esque nature of the first one turns a little section of the population off. But I like the first one. The second one's even better. I'm really looking forward to this third one now.
Yeah, it seems to be increasing in quality, whereas Planet of the Apes used to be something that was just mocked over and over again. Woody Harrelson is the main villain of the third one.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson, in his resurgence in the film popularity, I don't think he's got to really play a bad guy lately, so I think that'll be good for him.
Yeah, I think he'll be a good villain for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's going to say something about damn dirty apes at least once.
I hope so. I feel like he could pull it off really well. I don't know if the title's been announced for it, but I feel like it's going to be War of the Planet of the Apes. That would be my guess. I think the progression.
It is. It actually is. That's official.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so War of the Planet of the Apes, 2017. I'll go see it. I think it's going to be awesome. They do a great job making those apes look real. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, Andy Serkis, again, motion capture fame of Gollum, Lord of the Rings. And
that guy's awesome, man.
He was Claw in Age of Ultron, one of my favorite parts of that movie.
Man. He's so freaking sweet. Did they kill him off?
No.
Or did he escape?
He escaped. He lost his arm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, yeah, because he's got to get the claw. Yeah, I bet he'll pop back up in Black Panther.
Yeah, I do too. Hope so. Either way, Planet of the Apes 3, they'll give me some time to catch up on the other two in the next 2 years. So, oh well. Jungle Book, one of your movies that you said was going to suck this year.
Yes.
Got its first trailer since it was pushed back to April of next year. Mm-hmm. Did you watch it?
I watched it. My initial prediction is wavering a little bit. I just assumed, since it was another live-action Disney movie, that it was just not going to be good. Even with Jon Favreau attached, I still, I was like, no, this thing's still not going to be any good. I watched the trailer. The trailer makes it look exciting, but at the same time, every single animal in this movie is computer-generated. So, I mean, I haven't seen, Life of Pi, so I don't know, how convincing these CG animals can look when they're trying to make them look realistic.
You believe the apes in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I don't know. I almost kind of just want to not like it just because I want my initial prediction to ring true.
You're holding on to that. You're holding on to that for next year.
Because so far, it seems like I'm going to be running at 100% with my predictions for the year, even though this technically is out of the year. Yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I mean, it's got an April release.
You might get lucky on a technicality on this one that it moved to next year.
Yeah, maybe I'll just use that technicality in my favor.
Have you seen any of the actual live-action Disney films?
No, I haven't, because I heard all of them are just lackluster. I've heard some of them, they're just like, yeah, it's okay, but all of them just seem very mediocre.
See, that's funny because my fiance just got her Cinderella in the mail. It's on DVD now as of this week. Apparently it did really well. And I don't know if any other live action. Maleficent was another one. But I think they're really, really doing better. I think they're doing better than they did before.
Well, yeah, I
because Cinderella's at 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, maybe I'm just hating for the sake of being a hater. But I don't know. These live action Disney movies don't pull at me very much. I'm sure for other people they do, because I know for a fact there's people, my peers that I grew up with, that watch these animated Disney movies non-stop growing up. But obviously they're kind of aimed at little girls. They were princesses. I get that.
The ones that have been made have been primarily princess ones.
Yeah, exactly. I will be stoked if they announce a Mulan movie. I would be ecstatic for that.
They actually have announced Mulan for live action.
Well, is there any dates on it?
Nothing yet, but the writers are Elizabeth Martin and Lauren Hynek. I don't know who those are. But there's 12 movies they announced. Aladdin is one of them. Winnie the Pooh. Beauty and the Beast is the next one.
Oh, so it sounds like they literally just announced all of their... I think they're basically saying, we can pretty much make any famous animated movie into live action, so just prepare yourselves.
Yeah, it's totally true. And a lot of these, some are weird, like Chip and Dale. You remember those? Rescue Rangers?
Yeah, man, I love the Rescue Rangers.
They're getting a remake into the live action world.
Okay.
Fantasia is one. I tried to watch Fantasia. It is a trippy mindfuck.
Yeah, how do you turn that into a movie? Wasn't that basically just more of an animation spectacle, not really much going on in it?
Yeah, it was actually, when I was watching it, I was looking it up, that it was the Sorcerer's Apprentice, the Mickey short. They made that, and they wanted to put that into a movie, but they couldn't get it long enough, so they made a bunch of other short films.
Oh, okay.
Pinocchio will star Robert Downey Jr. as Geppetto.
Okay.
A live action film.
When is that supposed to drop? 2020 or something?
There are no dates with these. But Paul Thomas Anderson is the director, and he's penning the script.
Oh, all right. I mean, I like Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think his take on Pinocchio would be interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Beauty and the Beast is next. I'm not into the princess movies.
Yeah.
So I want to see something else, kind of like
The Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book. I guess Aladdin's a princess movie. Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, Sword in the Stone.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm not gonna be excited until one of them just like blows me away, and none of them. I haven't heard rave reviews about any of them. But I think, oh man, you just brought up Sword in the Stone. I think that would be rad. That'd be so awesome.
That's on the list. I think they're learning as they go, because I didn't care for Maleficent.
Yeah. Oh, I heard so many bad things about Maleficent.
But I've not heard a single bad thing about Cinderella from people who've watched it.
Now that's Cinderella. Which one was that? I'm getting these all confused because wasn't the first one Snow White and the Huntsman?
That doesn't count. That wasn't a Disney produced one.
Oh, I thought that was a Disney one.
I don't think so.
Wait, is Snow White just one of those characters that's like the IP that anyone can use it?
Yeah, it's one of those tales from those.
Oh, like a Grimm? Is that a Grimm?
I think so. Yeah, Brothers Grimm. Snow White's a Brothers Grimm.
Oh, see, this is why this is so confusing.
Yeah, so Maleficent was one of the first ones, and Cinderella's doing well. Beauty and the Beast is next, and then we'll see. I guess actually I take it back. Jungle Book, then Beauty and the Beast.
All right.
So I don't know if we may be eating some crow, man. Oh well. What about Transformers 5, your favorite franchise ever?
What about it?
Apparently it's moving forward. They're gonna make it whether we like it or not.
All right.
But they're also gonna make a animated Cybertron film alongside of that.
Huh. All right. I mean, that piques my interest a little bit more.
I would watch an animated Transformers movie that I downloaded illegally rather than more. I have more feeling towards that than trying to watch Transformers 5 in theaters.
You know what? Just make the movie 90 minutes. Shoot, maybe 100. Don't go over 100 minutes. That last movie was so long. I got so bored. And that's weird because, the Transformers movies might be bad, but at least they're not boring. At least there's entertaining things going on the inside. But man, that last movie just lagged behind so much. And I was like, just show me these goddamn Dinobots already.
Right? It was just one of those things where we're gonna do this and this and this, whether you like it or not, because you're already in the theater, fuckers.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, you don't have to build in time for commercials. Like, this is a movie. Like,
the movie is a commercial for a toy.
Yeah, I mean, just trim it down. If the next one is gonna be over 2 hours, there's no way I'm ever gonna see it. Yeah,
we're probably not gonna see it. What you can call them, though, the people who make this movie, we'll call them trolls.
Okay, is this your segue?
Because that leads us to our next one. The movie about those little dolls, Trolls. The ones that have all the spiky hair. The troll dolls. You're familiar, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
We looked it up before this. We had to look it up. There's a 2016 animated musical by DreamWorks about these toys.
Something tells me...
And they cast Justin Timberlake. So it's going to be sexy.
Something tells me Neil Patrick Harris will show up as a voice for something, and maybe even a live-action character in it. The trailer's going to probably remind me exactly of the Smurfs movie, and I'm just not going to see it, because I don't think this movie's for us.
Well, it's got Anna Kendrick as the female lead.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to go see this movie now.
All right, there you go. It's a musical. She sings in everything now.
She's such a cutie, and my wife's okay with it too.
And
she knows that I think she's a cutie.
Yeah, that's cool. Her name is Princess Poppy in the movie.
Well, is she just gonna be a voice? If she's just gonna be a voice, I'm not gonna go see it.
It's all animated.
Oh, I'm not. Screw it then. I'll just keep following her on Instagram like I do.
Well, what you can do is find pictures of her and tape them on your TV while you're watching it.
Okay, now that's just getting kind of creepy. I mean, because that means I have to take the effort of going out and getting a printer. I'm not going to do that.
Just go to Kinko's. Damn, son. You don't have to buy
one. That's too much work. You know what? People always say Kinko's, but I can't remember the last time I drove past a Kinko's.
FedEx bought them. So any FedEx store used to be Kinko's, pretty much. FedEx printing.
Either way,
I learned that the hard way too.
I don't think I'm going to be seeing Trolls because it just screams G-rated.
Man, if it gets G-rated, that's pretty risky for it. No, I'm kidding. But oh well. What about Godzilla versus King Kong? What's your feels on that?
Oh man, I think this is a better way to end the show than Trolls would be. So. Yeah.
Save the best for last. I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla King Kong kind of got wrapped up in that Pacific Rim 2 news when I was reading about it. I don't know. Did you saw the new Godzilla movie, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything about it. I mean, I didn't go see it, but I actually was listening to a podcast with Bryan Cranston a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of funny. He kind of candidly talked about his role in the film. Like, he didn't really bash the movie, but he blatantly said that they killed off his character way too soon in that movie, which now you would think like, oh, of course it is because you were playing the character, but I mean, everybody else said it too. So it's kind of just like, you listen to Bryan Cranston. He is a Hollywood golden god right now. So if he says you killed the character off too soon, and he justified it by saying it would have brought the character of the son and the father, it would have brought that story more up front and made it just more stakes to the film. But anyway, I don't know, like it makes me think, will that make me go see a sequel to Godzilla?
I don't know. Well, they're going to do a sequel to Godzilla first and a King Kong movie first to set everything up. Yeah. However, Legendary is confident it can come up with rationale to explain how Kong and Godzilla can do battle, because the new Godzilla is like skyscraper tall and King Kong is like 20 feet tall.
Yeah, I feel like they would basically, if they're rebooting King Kong, I feel like they just make King Kong bigger.
But, I mean, I think you can't reboot King Kong without him climbing a building and holding people. Like, I think they want this gorilla to be big enough to hold people gently.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, or maybe they can do a shrink ray. They'll shrink Godzilla.
I feel like it would maybe make more sense. Well, I don't know. The thing is, Godzilla, in the new film, what was it? Was his origin like radioactive?
Yeah, there was an island, and they were testing the bombs in the water. Or no, they tried to kill him in the water, and the radioactiveness made him bigger, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I don't know. One of them's got to get bigger, or one of them's got to get smaller. And I feel like it gets less summer blockbuster movie if one of them gets smaller. So I think maybe they do the same thing.
Maybe they get a growth ray on King Kong.
Either way, I feel
and they can make the set smaller.
Either way, I feel like it's gonna be a little silly, but I don't care if they're fighting. It's the same rationale in the Pacific Rim. I didn't care because it was monsters and giant robots fighting. Yeah, some of the lines in the movie were cheesy, but I didn't really care. So if they can find a way to get King Kong and Godzilla on the big screen, I will watch the shit out of that. And some people even said, heck, if you can't get the sequel to Pacific Rim made, just bring in the Jaegers into that universe and they all fight each other. I'd be like, I'm okay with that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm more of on the fence person because I don't care about Godzilla or King Kong either way. I want to see the robots fight the things. I'm much more a Pacific Rim guy. Take the money from them, give it to Pacific Rim 2, get this shit over with, and make that movie.
Yeah, I would much more be on board with a trilogy of Pacific Rim. But I don't know. I didn't see the Godzilla that came out last year, so I just remember the trailers being rad and the movie not living up to the trailers. So I was just like, I'm just not gonna put effort into seeing this.
I mean, honestly, I'd watch it over TMNT.
Yeah,
given the two. Yeah,
all right.
Seeing as they're both like reboots.
We'll see. I feel like there's going to be an instance in my future where at gunpoint I'm forced to watch either TMNT or Godzilla. Be like, oh god, what do I do?
No. They're going to ask you a question about one of those two movies, and you're not going to have seen one of them.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going to be the one you've not seen.
Am I going to be on like a game show? It'll be like the $1 million question.
Yeah. It's Cash Cab.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're my lifeline, so you'll help me out.
Yes, I will. I will. By God, I will find out. So that's the news for today. This week, we got it. Yay!
You did it, man.
Another episode down, 36. We're coming up on a year.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back, and you're going to leave us again soon.
Well, yeah, but we're going to find a way to not miss out on a week. I think we'll probably just have like a Tuesday or Monday evening release podcast on that day. But you listeners don't need to worry about that. We're always going to be in your feed every week.
That's right. Sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday releases. We'll go early if we have to.
Yeah, we make it work. We got to get you the news.
That's right.
It's our obligation.
And if they don't care about the news but want to see your comics, Mike, where can they find that?
Ooh, nice segue. Well, you can always follow me at Mike Royer Design, which we talked about at the top of the show. But yeah, you can go read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. I got like 2 irons in the fire right now. I'm hardly ever this productive. So I might have 2 coming out next week, or definitely for sure I'll have 2 in the next 2 weeks. So awesome. one of them is video game related, very heavily video game related. So I think people really like that one.
I'm ready for some video games. So
yeah.
Send them my way.
Well, Chris, if I'm sending them your way, where do they go?
At Valdan, VALDN on Twitter. Don't be afraid to look us up. Tell me what I did wrong today. I want to know. Tell me what Mike did wrong today.
Oh, you did nothing wrong. You were just a sweetheart.
Oh, thank you. You also go to comicui.com. Again, last week we talked we're going to be updating Comic UI in a big way in the next coming months.
Yeah, man.
Before the year's out, we've got a lot on our plates on that one too. And if you got iOS 9, you can find Comic UI on the news app. Superhero Slate has been submitted for it. We could be in your Apple News app pretty soon.
I got to figure out how that news app works. Is it just like a website feed? Is it like an RSS reader, basically?
Yeah, kind of, except you have to submit your RSS feed through Apple for it to pop there. You can't manually put it in there.
Oh, so it's kind of like iTunes is like for podcasts, and maybe news is kind of for like blog posts?
Yeah, or maybe? News posts. Like, I mean, honestly, I have like IGN on there, Kotaku, other different things, but you have to submit them through Apple. So Superhero Slate has been submitted to Apple for review. Oh,
I wonder if I can get my webcomic up on there. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you post frequently enough, I think they'll be okay with it.
Yeah, boy, that's awesome.
So as always, visit superheroslate.com. I've been on there quite a few times this week myself.
Yeah, well, I would hope you would go visit it, but you can also find our podcast on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. Heck, we even posted up on Tumblr, and you could subscribe via email and get it to your inbox. Heck, you can like us on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, we're all over the place, man.
Yeah, we are all over the place. I think, honestly, I would like to challenge our listeners to get someone to like us on Facebook if you could, or give us a thumbs up. I like to see some interaction coming up here because I've got some ideas for us coming down the line, but I want to see you guys give us a share or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're super fans, like everyone that listens to the show, I'm sure they're super fans, you should go leave us a review on iTunes. That helps us show up in their search algorithms. I believe we are ranked 12th right now for the word superhero. So I would like to take that up to number 1. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, as long as we're not saying superhero hype anymore, I think we're fine.
Yeah, we're not gonna screw that up anymore. But leave us a review on iTunes, and the super, super, super cool fans of the show will share the show with a friend that doesn't know about it yet.
Yeah, or go to YouTube. I like YouTube. I like doing stuff on YouTube. I think I'm going to up my ante on YouTube going forward. I think I'm going to add more pictures in of stuff we're talking about while we talk about it, rather than just the images of what we're talking about.
You're such a saint. You're giving people not only things to listen to, but things to look at.
That's right. I like to watch it on my Xbox, to be frank, to see it on the TV. It looks nice and slick.
We're there for you, fans. We're there for you.
Yeah, so all right, Mike. Well, I think that's it for us. You ready to call it quits?
Yeah, until next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.